Apologies there, ladies and gentlemen. We are back live. Once again, my Streamlabs, my Streamlabs decided to do some really weird, wacky things. I am trying my very best to get things back as they should, but we are back live, and like I said, apologies for that, as we are into a 5-minute qualifying session. As the guys are now on track, trying to get themselves sorted as best they can and get themselves some clean air. So they basically only have a few moments to get a lap time on the board. And this is pretty much going to be, that's it, one shot and they're done. And Hubert was the first one out on track, and I think he's leading a train of MSA drivers. Hubert ahead of Sylph, ahead of Tordok, and I think there's another one possibly, it's McGowan behind them. So three of them, one after the other. Like I said, apologies guys for the stream again, a second time round. I've updated the PC, so it should be working, but I don't know why. But yeah, either way, Hubert there just warming his tires up by the list there. Not sure why, because if he's not careful, he's going to run out of time, and he's invalidated that lap. As I said, this one-shot qualifying is really going to show who separates the men from the boys. And right now, Hubert is not going to be setting that time. Carlos is on a lap, as I think Sylph is just ahead of him as well. A few others staying in the pits. O'Brien has to serve a qualifying ban. And Betson in the pits first. So these guys that are in the pits right now are not going to get a lap time on the board. And as long as they cross the line, they are going to get that lap time on the board. So Hubert is the leading car. I am going to try my absolute best to see who is there next. It's going to be Sylph to set a lap time first. So here they come. And through the S's they go. And right now it's all about just getting that one lap time on the board. Is Hubert going to get round in time to get another lap time on the board? That is the question. And Sylph is right behind him in the tow of the Chevy Camaro, so this is going to be helping him out massively right now. So in the tow comes the Ginetta. It's going to be tight for Hubert. I think he's just going to be able to make it in time to start another lap. But Sylph now coming to the line. He's going to be the first one to set a representative time. Here comes Hubert. He's in the chicane. Has he just made it in time? Yes, he has. So he will get a lap time on the board. Meanwhile, Sylph first to the line. What's it going to be? No, he did not put a lap time on the board. Neither did Carlos, but Ian McGowan did a 30.0. Then there's O'Reilly coming to the line. He will go 29.3, and Tordok crosses the line. He will get another lap on the board. So Rob Smith crosses the line. Duffin goes ahead of him. Hunt just falls in behind them as they're going to come in thick and fast. Aberdeen goes into P4 and jumps Duffin and a few. Millington doesn't get a lap time on the board. Who's coming to the line next? 36. That was Jamal Clouden, I believe. Yes, it was. He did not get a lap time on the board, and this is what I mean. This is going to shake up the order. A few coming into the pits. There is Skunky. He's currently on a lap, and we got Johnson now coming to the line. He's also got Wheel just ahead of him as well. So to the line comes Johnson as the lap times are coming down. Stardog goes into P4. And he crosses the line there. Where is Skunky going to fall in all of this? Skunky goes P4. And now we've got the 208. And that is Friedman. He goes P4 now. So we've got the 313. That is Gary Leach. What can he do in his Mercedes-Benz? He comes to the line. And that is good enough for 13th, just behind his teammate, the 999 of the Jackal. And lap time on the board is 17th place position. So a few drivers not getting that lap time on the board. All they needed to do was put a lap time on the board, and that was that. That's all they needed to do. Meanwhile, Hubert and a few others still not got a time, including Carlos. Here is those trainer cars. And McGowan is on another lap as well, so he's hoping to improve. And through the S's, they come down towards the back end of the circuit. Hubert leading this quartet of cars. Chevy, there's the Ginetta, there's the Porsche, and there's the Mercedes-Benz. 4 different manufacturers all close to one another. And Hubert coming to the chicane now. Have they all got a lap time finally on the board? Here we go. What do these guys have done? That is the question. Hubert coming to the line. Is it pole position? No. 4th. Silth goes 2nd. Carlos goes 4th. McGowan does not improve. O'Reilly currently on a 29.3. He improves ever so slightly. Can Tordock take it away? No, he goes 2nd, but O'Reilly, another pole position to his name. And he is going to be starting on pole for this second race, this feature race for 45 minutes. And that was an intense qualifying session nonetheless. And guys, obviously a new stream now, so hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. But what a lap there. What a lap from O'Reilly, half a second faster than anybody else, and that puts him on pole position here for the 45-minute race. And let's so I'll get a poll going. As we get a poll going for who we think is going to win this one. But nonetheless, another pole position to the name of O'Reilly.
20 seconds.
A lot of the MSA boys up there as well. Ian McGowan, another solid qualifying from him.
10 seconds.
To be up there with the quick boys. There we go. There is a poll all set up for you guys to get your votes in on who you think is going to win this feature race. And Duffin has not made the start once again. So he's going to start from pit lane. I'm just trying to sort out the stream a minute. So it is O'Reilly who's going to be starting on pole position ahead of Tordock in 2nd. 3rd is Silth. McGowan is in 4th with Carlos starting in that 5th place position. Hubert starts in 6th. Well, 7th is Friedman. 8th is Skunky. Stardog is 9th with Myers in 10th. Aberdeen is going to start at 11th with Wright starting in 12th. Fernie is in 13th with Duffin starting from pit lane, or maybe not starting this race, with Hunt starting in 15th. Leach starting in 16th with Smith in 17th. 18th is going to be Johnson. Well, 19th with Old Sim Racer. Jackal in 20th. Vesley in 21st. Marsden in 23rd. Wheel starting in 20. He's going to start 23rd as O'Brien starts 24th. Millington 25th with Betterton in 26th. Unsworth in 27th with Ramsell 28th. Jamal Clouden 29th. Hibbs in 30th. Tipping 31st. And Taylor bringing up the rear. So get your votes in on who you think is going to this one. Like I said, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you do not miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. And also, while you're at it, have a look at our fantastic sponsors as well. Design Manchester and Audio Sports as well. Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics and laser engraved gift mugs, clothing, and much more as well, including SimPlay Motorsport. Have a look at their Facebook link in the description. Audio Sport, manufacturers of VWT Transporter T4 audio solutions and styling products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk and there is the Facebook link as well. And also, while we have the opportunity, on the screen now is our Patreon support. If you want to be a part of the Patreons in the Discord, simply pay £3 a month to reserve your race number, priority of access to sign-ups and events, so you get first opportunity to enter those events, track suggestions in future events on seasons, and pre-season promo images as well, and auto share your social media links and streams in the Discord and on Instagram as well. But we are moments away here as we now come into the final part of their prep. It is O'Reilly, your race winner from the sprint, on pole position here. A majority are already thinking that O'Reilly is going to be the man to beat. But I'm pretty sure Silf, Tordock and McGowan are all going to try and give him a hard time here. Reminder as well, the start is not this side of the pit lane, it is the other side. 45-minute race here. Who is going to come out on top here at Spa Francorchamps? As we're about to get things underway. 42nd and final time for the GT4s this evening. Porsche and McLaren on the front row. 74 versus the 200 of Tordock. Not sure why Silf is sat there, but it's O'Reilly versus Tordock. As we now wait for the green here at Spa.
Green light. Go, go.
We are green and go as we head towards turn number 1 and up towards Eau Rouge and Radion. The McLaren and the Porsche going side by side. Up the hill they go. And they're all flying towards the top end of the circuit as the McLaren and the Porsche go side by side. Everyone else looking like they've managed to survive turn number 1 this time round, and it is all fairly even as they head down towards the turn 4 corner. Who's there latest on the brakes? It is O'Reilly who will lead them through as Tordock's fighting Silf there and trying to get into some form of rhythm, and Friedman had a great start. He's flown up the order. He's already cleared Carlos and he's now behind the rest of the top guys. McGowan's going side by side with Friedman. He's going to try and go around the outside of him, but can't do it there. Duffin's staying in pit lane, so he's not coming out for this race, I do not think, as everyone else gets underway. And Jamal Cloudon's got a lot of work. He's 22nd and being pushed wide here. But as they go down the hill towards Pouan, Tordock has got his mirrors full of Silf and allowing O'Reilly to extend the gap in his McLaren. Hubert managing to get back past McGowan. Meanwhile, Carlos getting back past Friedman as well, as it's getting a little bit congested here as Stardog is now trying to pass Myers. Where has Skunky gone? There he is. He's just ahead of this squabble of cars, and he's just behind his teammate. You can see multiple cars here, and Hunt in the middle of all that as well. He's looking to work his way through this order. We're just trying to find a gap to go through. Gary Leach also in the middle of this squabble as well. He goes through right on the curb. Oh, and there goes a car. That is tipping, I believe. Or is it Aberdeen? No, it's Aberdeen. So Gary Leach and Aberdeen come together. Gary Leach trying to get his car going. Meanwhile, Silt has put in Tordock under a little bit of pressure here as both of them try and hunt down Kieran O'Reilly, and around the outside goes Friedman on Carlos, and he gets that job done that time round. And down towards turn number 1 they go. Hubert now trying to pressurise the back of Silth as well. But while these guys are all battling, they're allowing they're allowing O'Reilly to disappear. Meanwhile, Jamal Clouden has worked his way up to 20th position. He's now attacking Robert Ramsell up the inside of turn number 1. He goes. A good exit there from the Chevy allows him to get ahead of Ramsell. And Ramsell's under pressure from his own teammate Millington from the Cam duo, and through goes Millington as well. So Millington making a move on his teammate, but O'Reilly out in front as Silth is attacking Tordock, but Silth is under pressure from his own friend Hubert right behind him. And it's all quite close racing here. As Carlos just on the back of it, Skunky actually, sorry, on the back of this squabble of cars, trying to work his way to the front of the order. We see here Friedman going side by side with Old Sim Racer, and he gets that job done. Anything else going on at the minute? It's all looking pretty clean so far. And Hibbs around the outside of, who is that? That looks like Rob Smith. Yes, it is. And Rob Smith and Unsworth have come together, and Unsworth has come off worse as Fernie's now cleared John Andrews and Taylor and is working his way through the order. Gary Leach now with major damage in front of his car, working his way through the order as Will and Aberdeen have both ended back in the pits and look like they're not going to be coming out for a while. O'Reilly, meanwhile, got it quite under control here as Tordock is too busy looking behind instead of looking forwards, as he's got Silth right behind him. And all the way down to Skunky. Is this a squabble of cars? It's looking very competitive at the minute towards the front of this pack. A reminder, some of these guys are carrying ballast as well, so they're going to be a bit heavy at this stage of the race. Friedman, after clearing Carlos, he's now on the back of McGowan. And what can he do with him as Wright, meanwhile, is still trying to find a way past on Myers. He's still got Hunt behind him and Stardog as well. As O'Brien has just made a move on Michael Johnson, and Johnson's dropped down the order. Old Sim Racers just behind him as well. Vesti, I think, has just made a move on... No, sorry, Millington is about to make a move on the BMW driver as Clouden now up to 17th place position. A great recovery drive from him at this stage, but O'Reilly up the hill and pulling away from the cars behind as they're all trying to stick with him as best they possibly can. Track limits is going to be the main thing as well here. If they take too many track limits, they're going to lose out. Silf, meanwhile, under pressure there from Hubert. He's looking to the outside and loses out there, and is going to be under some pressure from McGowan. Nope, McGowan's got his own problems with Friedman right behind him instead. Skunky's trying to join Friedman on the back of him, but can't do so at this stage. And Friedman up the inside of McGowan. McGowan made us a slight mistake, and Friedman is now through. They're still within touch of O'Reilly, as O'Reilly's still trying to build that gap as best he possibly can. But at this stage, they're not really able to give him any threats. Myers, meanwhile, still pressure from Wright, who's got Hunt and Stardog right behind him. And once again, O'Brien just trying to work his way through this order. Jamal Clouden has now got onto the back of Marsden and trying to find a way through. But it is Johnson seems to be in a bit of the cork in the bottle at this stage. Meanwhile, O'Reilly's gap has come down to 0.8 of a second, so they're all close to one another. Meanwhile, Hubert has made a mistake, and Will Friedman has chosen to pounce now So the Chevy driver had it quite comfortable, and now he's got the Porsche driver of Will Friedman right behind him. Is he going to set him up into the chicane? As Hubert's gone deep, Friedman looking to try and get the cutback. Oh, and he's gone round. Will Friedman had done all that hard work and has gone round. And a mistake made there. He's going to stay ahead of Myers. He should do. But all that hard work, and he's just let it all go as Tordok has set fastest lap of the race now. But he's still got Silk breathing down his neck. And Tordok trying just to basically stick with O'Reilly. He's there or thereabouts, but can't really do anything with it. Meanwhile, Carlos now is on the attack of McGowan. And there, the Chevy Grunt pulling away from the Porsche. Top 5 at the minute, guys, separated by 5 different manufacturers. McLaren, Porsche, Ginetta, Chevy and Mercedes. A brilliant variety of cars there, but it is the McLaren leading the way quite comfortably at this stage. A few changes there as we see O'Brien passing Stardog. That's another position gained as Jamal Clouden still trying to make moves. Old Sim Racer is done. He's in 16th. His next target is Marston. And down towards the sweeping right-hander they go. Stardog now losing out to O'Brien. Hunt is now the next target for O'Brien, and this fight is going to resume once again from the first race. And Wright just pulling away from them, not able to stick with Myers though, as Friedman is just ahead of these guys. He's got a lot of work to do to get onto the back of these cars. But now Silth is really pushing. He's pretty much pushing that Porsche of Tordok. Obviously, like I said, the straight line advantage of the Porsche just helping against the Ginetta, but Silth is closer than he's ever been now. He's looking to the outside, but he's not far enough alongside. He hasn't got the grunt. As soon as he pulls out of the toe, the Ginetta is probably banging on the limiter right now. And Tordog there just pulls away ever so slightly, as you can see. Just I think the Ginetta is hitting the rev limiter, but he's still making it work. He's right on the rear wing of that Porsche and can't do anything about it. Meanwhile, in the back, Carlos looks like he's got the job done on McGowan. And upper position goes Carlos. What else is going on? We got the two Quadrant Motorsport guys going. Rice clearly made a mistake somewhere. He's ended up dropping behind Hunt and now O'Brien. Can he stay ahead of Stardog Barkla? And he does. So Stardog, though, is going to have a better exit out of turn number 1. And Stardog putting some pressure on the Alpine. And we have lost Matthew Duffin, and Smith is in the pits. He's got damage to his car, and I believe Matthew Duffin has had to shoot. But here we see Wright having to defend from Stardog. Is Stardog going to get the job done? No, he's not. Wright makes a mistake. And Stardog there just not able to get the job done on O'Brien. Wright, I mean. And O'Reilly still got that comfortable gap to Tordok. Still giving him some hard time. Hubert kind of in no man's land as Carlos is now done. McGowan, Skunky has now caught McGowan. So what can he do from there? As the leaders have all kind of spread out. Now, Hunt and O'Brien are continuing their fight from the sprint race. But through the S's they go. And Hunt has lost out a fight between O'Brien this time. So O'Brien has got the job done this time round. We're still possibly backing off ever so slightly from O'Reilly. Maybe the two of them can finally work together to stop O'Reilly from pulling away as much. And maybe try and get him in the strategies. As they work through the chicanes, again, not much fight going on through there. Johnson coming onto the back of Stoddard. There's a big bit of dirt getting kicked up. I think that was possibly old Sim Racer. He's attacking Marsden, and when he gets right on the back of him. And can the Chevy driver have a look up the inside? No, he cannot. But he should have a better straight line come up the top of Eau Rouge Radio, and we're going to stay on board with this fight. Chevy versus Mercedes versus Ginetta. It should go the way of the Mercedes, but Ultimate Racer's not had the best run through Eau Rouge Radion. But here it comes in the slipstream. See, Skunky's got close as well. We'll keep an eye on that fight. But again, not quite enough is the Mercedes. No, it's not. So he's going to have to back off a little bit. And old Sim Racer has to fall in line. O'Reilly, meanwhile, has still got that back to Tordock. They're just there. They're not able to do anything with O'Reilly just yet, but they're just there, keeping themselves in play. Meanwhile, McGowan still trying to chase Carlos down as Skunky is behind him. Friedman, ever since he's had his spin, has not really been able to go on the attack. And if anything, McGowan has come back at Carlos this lap. McGowan has a bit of a slide himself through that sector. Skunky going a little bit wide also. And again, we'll keep an eye on those track limits. And Johnson now with Clouden right behind him. These guys start to give each other a bit of a headache through this sector. Three cars batting it out at the minute. It is Style Dog though leading this group 13, 14 and 15 at the minute. Into the left-hander they go. And Stardog's pulled away from Johnson there, and it's now Clouden putting the pressure on the McLaren driver. And through towards the bus stop chicane that they come. Over the curb, there you go. Clouden there trying to find every inch that he can possibly get. Is he going to try and send it up into the chicane, into the hairpin? He's not quite far enough. Meanwhile, Myers has just lost his attacking O'Brien here, as these two are going side by side, going down towards the Eau Rouge and Radion corner. Myers is going to try and hold on as long as he possibly can. They're side by side up Eau Rouge and Radion. O'Brien had to hit the brakes. He's gone deep. He's managed to skim the wall ever so slightly. Where is Myers? There he is. He's flashing O'Brien to say, look, you cut the trap, mate. Give the position back. And Hunt is now on the move. So I think all is fair there. I think O'Brien should be giving that position back. He did gain an advantage off the circuit. And Hunt now goes and separates them. So that's going to even make it more trickier for him. So he either gives up two positions or he leaves it to the stewards to decide. Meanwhile, Carlos, McGowan and Skunky are all nose to tail here. And here's Carlos trying his very best to stay ahead of McGowan. But Skunky's come onto the scene now, making it a bit more of a headache for him. And so far, no mistakes from Carlos just yet. He's managing to hold off the two Mercedes, as the Porsche of Will Friedman's just behind them as well. Hunt, meanwhile, is still on the back of O'Brien. Myers just with them as well, and Wright also. So some great fights up and down the order as Jamal Clouden looks like he's got damage to the front end of his car. He was fighting Johnson. He's got damage to his car, whereas Stardog, he's ended up with damage also, so he's dropped down the order. So possible contact between those three. Drive through for the 663 of Johnson for track limits. And there we go, the first drive through from track limits, as once again the top three still within 2 seconds of one another, and the pit window has now opened as the leaders work their way through, and Myers into the pits instantly to get that done and dusted. Excuse me. And Johnson coming in to serve his drive through. Millington in. As Fernie and Taylor have been quite close to one another, they've opted into pit straight away. So far we've had some great racing here in the GT4s once again. Meanwhile, Carlos has pulled away from McGowan, and McGowan's got his own fight with Skunky, and McGowan's allowed the two old school racers through. Through the S's they go. Now can they do anything about Carlos? That is the question. They've lost a little bit of time, they lost a little bit of momentum, but they can work together to bring that gap back down. Meanwhile, O'Brien still ahead of Hunt, ahead of Wright. Cloudens with a little bit of damage to the front end of his car. What can he maintain with that at this stage? And everyone else is fairly spread. Oh, John Andrews has a moment. Nearly ended up in the pit lane, but he has managed to collect it and keep it facing the right way as they're all in pit lane at this moment in time. O'Reilly once again opening the gap to 1.5. Not setting blistering laps by the looks of things, and he's now got Silth actually, sorry. Silth has made the position ahead of Tordok. Now, that Ginetta was very good in the corners, and you can see he's pulling away in this middle sector. The straight line disadvantage of the Ginetta is going to be hurting him here. Tordok is going to be bringing that gap down in the toe already, and look, he's already gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining. He's right back on the rear wing of the Ginetta, and still doing everything he can to keep the Porsche behind. Is the Porsche going to send it up the inside? Tordok looks to do it. Still, can he brake later? Yes, he can. And once again, using the advantage of the grip of the car, and Tordok's thinking, I don't want to be in this traffic. I want the clean air. So into the pits he goes. Hubert's carrying on. Carlos carrying on. Skunky's into the pits as Friedman decides to carry on. So who out of all the stoppers came out the front? It is Myers ahead of Millington, ahead of Friedman, Fernie. Taylor's coming out. Stardog's now coming out. And Jackal's now out. Leach is out. And Smith is out also. But a lap down by the looks of things, as Aberdeen is in pit lane as well. So now Silth has been released. Can he do anything about O'Reilly? Problem is, he's now out of the slipstream that he was getting from the Porsche. So the straights, he's going to be losing out. So this first sector was 2 seconds, and he's lost 4/10 just on the first sector alone on O'Reilly. We go back to old Sim Racer and Marsden, who are still fighting it out. Who else is there? Ramsel's now attacking Vesely. The BMW just seems to be struggling a little bit. It's nice to see a BMW back, but looks like Ramsel might have the opportunity to try and get past him here. He's in the tow, but Ramsel with a little bit of damage as well. Old Sim Racer's just dropped off the back of the Ginetta. So we go back to Ramsel, possibly an opportunity up at the right-hander. No door opening there, so Ramsel has to go a little bit longer as the BMW driver goes a little bit wide. As O'Reilly now goes through the Sector 2 split, we'll see where the gap is between those two. and it's 1.3. So Silth on that middle sector has gained a lot of time, but also we have got traffic in between them, so that is possibly where he has gained that time. Meanwhile, Ramsell's still trying to find a way through, has Tordok's gone green, as has Skunky, and Skunky's not a million miles away behind him, so that gap is still possible there. So Skunky possibly not decided to change tyres, while Tordok has. Ramsell still looking for that opportunity. Oh, he nearly hits the back of the BMW, and the BMW holds on to the position. Meanwhile, Wright is now attacking Hunt. And O'Reilly and Silth both come into the pits, one after the other. So Silth did bring that gap down massively as they now head into the braking zone of the bus stop chicane, and we are in the halfway stage, and Hunt's gone deep. Wright's going to go around the outside, and Hunt's cut the chicane. Hunt's going to have to lose a little bit of time here to Wright. And towards turn number 1 they go, as Hunt holds on to that position, and Wright had to take a more controversial line there, a bit more tucked in, as Hubert is now your new race leader, as your top two are in the pit, O'Reilly and Silth. Such a long pit lane here, and it really does hurt them in this session. Now we've got to keep an eye on where Tordok is, and Skunky wasn't too far behind Tordok in the end. It was 2 seconds the gap, 2.1, so it's 3 seconds. So Tordok's pulling away from Skunky. So Skunky, I think, has left the old tyres on, while Tordok's possibly changed the tyres, hoping to get a better grip, as Taylor meanwhile has got Leach right behind him. So as Tordok comes up to the chicane, where is O'Reilly? He is stopped, as is Silth. McGowan now comes to a stop. So Tordok possibly had a very good outlap here. Skunky was trying to go with him possibly. 3 seconds is the gap between those two. I think it's extended a little bit more. No, it stayed the same. So Tordok matched by... yeah, Tordok must have changed tyres, because O'Reilly and Silth are already up the hill. Well, Tordok is actually nowhere in sight to them. So Tordok's lost out quite a bit here, possibly with those fresh tyres. As McGowan's now gone green and released, and away he goes. He's dropped off from those guys. The question is, what does Will Friedman do now? He's been left out there a lap on his own. What can he do from this position? But O'Reilly and Silth now 7/10 separating them. And this could be an interesting fight to the end between the McLaren and the Ginetta. Silth looking quite quick at this stage. O'Reilly possibly struggling now with grip. Where was Tordok in the middle of all this? He's got to clear Andrews first. As Friedman's now decided to pit. O'Brien's in as well, as is Hunt and Wright, and all these guys will not be able to get another lap in, so they have all opted to pit. Hubert has decided to go on another lap, so we'll see where this puts him. But everyone else has to pit now, as will Andrews, and right now he's got Tordok right behind him, and Andrews doesn't have to get out of the way, and he probably isn't going to. But it's still O'Reilly and Silth going at it, and this is the most pressure O'Reilly has pretty much had all race. Silth has been putting so much pressure on the back of Tordok, and Tordok has now cleared Andrews, and Skunky's just dropped off the back of Tordok, as Tordok's got up and going, and away he goes. Now, this should be interesting for Hubert. If he ends up in an incident with another car, or ends up losing a lot of time, he's not going to make the pit window. So through the chicane goes O'Reilly and Silth, and I think Friedman not going to be near these two. But it's going to be an interesting fight between him and Tordok, as Friedman is stopped, but he's near the bottom of the pit lane as well. Oh, that Silth looked like he had an opportunity there, O'Reilly, but it was just a camera. Meanwhile, Unsworth has come out the pit, and he is right in front of Old Sim Racer. Meanwhile, a freshly painted Camaro behind them of Jamal Clouden hunting them down. Friedman has gone green. And where does that put him against Tordok? There's Tordok. And Friedman has jumped Tordok. Friedman's going to be a little bit slow, though, coming out the pit lane. But Tordok not quite close enough there. So Friedman, playing the strategy, using the clean air, has got away with it. Here comes Hubert. It's 15 seconds to the pit window. And he needs to be at least in pit lane for it to count. 9, 8, oh, it's going to be so tight. I don't think he's done it. I think he's missed the window. It's closed. Pit window closed, and Hubert has not done his stop. 1 lap extra has really hurt his race. I will have to get that confirmed, but Hubert there not completing the pit strategy. We shall see when he comes out of pit lane. Meanwhile, Clouden has already cleared old Sim Racer. He's now trying to clear Unsworth. He's looking left, he's looking right. Can Jamal Clouden in the Chevy Camaro find a door opening? You know, Tordok is already onto the back of Will Friedman, so he's going to keep him busy for a while. But Hubert making a big strategy mistake there. No, Riley's pulling away from Silk once again. Seems to be ebbing and flowing between those two. Friedman and I think Tordok are going to be fighting for that third and final podium position. And here comes Jamal Clouden up the inside of the Aston Martin. Is the job done? I believe it is. Yes, it is. He'll be up the inside for then the next swooping right-hander, but Unsworth's going to keep it pinned around the outside. He's going to lose time and traction as he hits the dirt. He's still alongside him, though. He's still going with him. Meanwhile, Hubert has not gone green yet, as Kieran O'Reilly and still go down the main straight. Did Jamal Clouden get the position? Yes, he did, as Unsworth then had to back out, and Hubert has gone, and that has not worked out for him at all. The strategy, that 1 extra lap, has now forced him to carry a penalty. It would have put him a solid 3rd place, ahead of Friedman and Tordok, but it's not going to work out that way. Big mistake here from Hubert. So strategy call gone wrong there. Tordok, though, still giving Friedman a bit of a hard time, but can't do anything at this stage. The Quadra Motorsport boys has now cleared Hunt, who's being chased by Myers. These guys are all kind of just separated out evenly. Is now old Sim Racer in the slipstream of the Aston Martin of Unsworth. Can he do anything to him up towards the end of the Camaro straight? No, he can't. The back end just stepping out ever so slightly there. Who has 7 to fight? Ramsel is still fighting with Vesely, and he's right up the rear wing of him. And the BMW has gone wide. That's going to allow Ramsel to come sweeping back underneath. Is the job done? Not quite, but he does get it done in the hairpin. Great stuff there from Ramsel. Another position gained for him. And Tordok and Friedman still close to one another. Now we've got a 3-way fight for Unsworth, Old Sim Racer and Marsden. Reminder as well, guys, if I am really messing up your names, then please feel free to let me know in the Discord how you pronounce your names. Like I said, my dyslexia probably doesn't help me in the best way, but yeah, feel free to let me know if I am pronouncing anything badly. As these three are going at it hard. Oh, an old sim racer makes a mistake. But he gets right back on the rear wing of the Aston Martin. We'll have to come back to that fight momentarily, because it looks like, once again, old sim racer and Tordok are close. They're catching Hubert, and there's an Audi in between them. And Will needs to get out of the way as best he possibly can without hindering the leaders. Oh, Will Freeman's pretty much pushing the Audi. And here we go, the Ginetta versus the Mercedes. Old sim racer and Marsden going at it. And once again, the Ginetta just losing out in straight line. Now Ramsell's cleared the BMW. Here comes the Ginetta of Fernie. And through Eau Rouge and Radion, and there you go. Ramsell's going to be under a little bit of pressure from this BMW. Here he comes. The straight line from that BMW is mighty. Probably one of the strongest in a straight line, and it just out-drags that Aston Martin. And Ramsell, after all that hard work, is back behind him, but the BMW has gone deep. He has gone wide. He is going to have to give up that time, which he does so, and as he does, he's going to lose out to Fernie as well. Fair effort there from him there, as Vesey does give back the possession. Well done to him. Could have been a lot worse, as I think Hubert is going to try and help his teammate out, Tordok, now, and try and hold up Friedman. He's going to get a penalty for not serving his drive-through, for serving his pit stop. So can he help his teammate out just by holding up the other Porsche driver? Towards turn number 1 they go. Meanwhile, O'Reilly comfortably in front of Silth. No threat from him at this stage. Then what can Tordok do? Friedman currently in the middle of a MSA racing sandwich. And Tordok a much better run through Eau Rouge and Radion. And you see there, Hubert staying to the left-hand side to possibly give the toe to the other Porsche, his teammate. And can he try and outbrake him through towards the right-hander? Friedman's going to fight this as much as he can. He stays to the outside, but Friedman losing out here. And Tordok gets through. A little bit of teamwork there from the Chevy Camaro of Hubert, and Friedman loses that position. Well, the fights that we got going on, old sim racer still trying to find a way on Unsworth. Who else is there? It's Fernie's now caught Ramsell as well, and Stardog has got Gary Leach for company. Both of them had a decent start, but it's kind of gone downhill ever since. And here comes Fernie. You can see Ramsell's got damage to his car, and is just walking wounded now. He's been out-dragged by a Ginetta. That's how much damage that Ramsell has got on his Aston Martin, and can't seem to fight with it at this stage. He's still on the back of Fernie, but Fernie holds on to that position. Tordok here has not given up on the P3 position. He's currently sit there at the minute, but he wants to get it on the track. Both of them running a little bit wide there. Tordok getting to the outside, but Hubert is still racing him. He's still getting harder, and that's going to allow Will Friedman to come back into the equation and go around the outside of Tordok. And Tordok now back under pressure from Will Friedman. McGowan's gone off. Possibly made contact with Skunky by the looks of things. He's got going again, and Skunky's dropped down the order big time. O'Brien has now got past Skunky. Oh, and Skunky's dropped it in the wall again. And that's going to allow Matt right through. Is Hunt now going to get him? Yes, he is. Myers, another one. Oh, it's going to be close between these two. I don't think he is, as Skunky, in a solid position, has lost out here. Meanwhile, the two Greasy Bandits racing duo of Hibbs and Clouden are going to swap positions here. Hibbs allowing his teammate through, and through he goes. Meanwhile, Hubert has pulled away from Tordok, as Tordok has got Friedman this time breathing down his neck. This has been a close, intense fight between these two Porsche drivers, and to be fair, the respect has been given, so it's been great racing to watch. Unsworth still trying to keep old Sim Racer behind him. But the Mercedes driver can't seem to be able to do anything with it at the minute. Gary Leach still ahead of Stardog, and Stardog's going up the inside of turn number 1. Gary's gone wide, and Stardog will get the job done, or is Gary going to try and out-drag him? A little bit of damage to the front end of Gary Leach's car. Up the hill they go, and Gary Leach losing a position there. Back to the front, and Tordok has brought that cap down to Hubert once again, but Friedman's gone with him. Also, Silth has brought the gap down to O'Reilly to a second, so we'll see how that all works out. Maybe the traffic hasn't worked in his favour, but here comes the guys fighting for that third place. It's really between Friedman and Tordok, because the penalty is coming the way of Hubert. All right, now it's all stalemates there at this stage. Myers has caught Skunky, so Skunky's got a little bit of front end damage. And old Sim Racer also still trying to make a move on Unsworth. Taylor's onto the back of the Jackal. I think Jackal's got damage to the front end of his McLaren, if I remember rightly. Yeah, he has, so he's struggling with possibly a little bit of front aero. And here we go, Hubert, Tordok and Friedman going for it once again. Friedman's so close to a third place position at this minute. I think it must have been traffic for the leaders, because Silth has now lost 2.3 seconds to, he's lost, sorry, 1.3 to O'Reilly, and O'Reilly's gapped him once again. And Hubert once again holding up Tordok. This is bringing Friedman. He's just dropped off the back a little bit, has Friedman, but once again, these two start squabbling, and that just brings Friedman back into the equation. Look at that, Tordok looking to go around the outside. There's going to be another Ginetta there. Oh, he's just managed to avoid hitting Aberdeen there, and into the chicane they go. Hubert's gone a little bit deep. He's got a little bit wide. Oh, they've not managed to make contact. Friedman right there, right on the back of Tordok. He can't allow, if he goes through on a Chevy, he has to go with him, because as soon as he do so, they're going to be holding each other up, and Tordok will disappear. And here comes Friedman. He's right on the back bumper of Tordok. Really close to one another. He's got a little bit wide. Too much speed carried through there, and he's not going to be in an opportunity to attack. Hubert now under pressure from both Porsches. Tordok trying everything he possibly can to clear the Chevy Camaro, but he can't do so. This is great racing between these three, and there goes Tordok. He's looking up the inside. Job done, and Friedman's gone with him. Just as they think they're swapping positions or gaining the track, Friedman is going to have to be ballsy. He's going to have to go side by side with the Chevy. He doesn't. And Tordok clears Hubert. Friedman needs to clear him now. He cannot allow Tordok to get too far ahead. Here comes Friedman up the inside. Oh, he makes contact with Tordok. Missed his brakes. Tordok gets collected. Friedman goes round. Friedman waits for him. They get going. Where is McGowan? Nowhere to be seen. As Tordok would now probably hold on to that third place position. And Hubert, because after all of that, he stays in that third place position. Was great racing between the two, but sadly it came to an end where Friedman just missed his brakes and lost out there. He's now going to be under pressure from McGowan. What else is going on out on track? Not a lot else. Unsworth has dropped behind Marsden and Old Sim Racer, so he's possibly had a moment somewhere. Millington is ahead of Fernie, and Fernie has suddenly got a form of pace. He's hunting down Millington, dropped to Ramsell. And Taylor has cleared, or has he? No. So the BMW is now chasing the Ginetta. And guys, get your votes in for driver of the day. It's been a fantastic night's worth of racing once again from the GT4s. Here comes the BMW Vessi up the inside, but not far enough. And Taylor will hold on to position, or will he? Because he's gone round, and the BMW and the Ginetta have come round. They both go around, and they're both going to lose out here. But O'Reilly comes out of the final corner to start his final lap here. And Silt, once again, has had no answer. He's not been able to chase him down at all. But Freeman has dropped McGowan as well. So McGowan's made a mistake himself. O'Brien's had a quiet night, a great race one. But race two, he's kind of been no man's land. He's had his teammate right behind him. So two Alpines doing a solid job, as Miles is also once again still putting that pressure on Skunky. Vessi has got going, and Taylor has gone ahead of an Aberdeen. Ended up back in the pits. Wheel ended up back on track as well. And Aberdeen pulling to the side there. He has made it to the end of the session pretty much. But O'Reilly, what a masterclass. Guys, get your votes in on driver of the day. It's been an absolute masterclass from this man. Driven brilliantly from lights to flag. Not taking the Grand Slam. He's not got the fastest lap to his name. And Tordok holding on to that third place position and the fastest lap to his name. It's been another great night's worth of racing. And make sure, guys, you tune in tomorrow night as well. I'm not sure who will be bringing the commentary. Hopefully, it will be Lexi bringing you the action for the Pro-Ams. If not, it'll probably either be myself or Matthew Duffin. But either way, make sure you tune in, as the Pro-Ams will be taken to the circuit tomorrow night and see what they can do around this fantastic circuit. Oh, Silt there in the background. Big slides. So make sure you tune in for that. And obviously Thursday night will be the return of Sweet and Sticky in your box of KLF, aka Kelly Davis and Matthew Duffin, bringing you all the action for the pros. And make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be notified. And also have a look at our fantastic sponsors, Audio Sport and Design Manchester as well. But coming through the final few corners here, Kieran O'Reilly, what a masterclass. McLaren have been dominant here tonight, taking both race wins, taking the pole position, and he is going to take the feature race here. Kieran O'Reilly wins round 4 of the season. Silt is going to finish in that second place position, gave it a good hard go, but nowhere to be seen in the end. on the road will be Hubert, but where will he drop down after the penalty has been applied? He crosses the line in third place position, 132nd time penalty added to his name. We'll see where that drops him down. Fastest lap to his name. Tordok will finish in that P4 position, but that will change as well with Hubert's penalty. Fifth is Friedman. Sixth is McGowan. O'Brien is going to come ahead of Wright. They're going to come home for a 7th and 8th place. Hunt in 9th, and Skunky will finish in that 10th place position ahead of Myers in the end. Jamal Clouden, no lap time on the board for qualifying, drops into 12th. 13 is going to be the way of Hibbs. Solid job for him this evening. Old Sim Racer is then going to finish in that 14th place position ahead of Marsden in that 15th. Unsworth is in 16th place position with Millington still defending from Fernie as they go into the final chicane. He's gone deep, and that is going to give the possession to Fernie, and Fernie is going to get that 17th place position. Great job from him there. Millington in 18th. Ramsdell will finish in 19th. The Jackal will finish in 20th position. Stardog 21st. And here we go, Gary Leach and the BMW of Vesey still going at it. Vesey coming into the final corner. Is he just going to hang in there from the Mercedes driver? To the line they come. It is Vesey ahead of Leach, ahead of Taylor, ahead of Tipping, Johnson in 26th, Smith in 27th, Andrews 28th, Betterton 29th, Wheel 30th, and Aberdeen in 31st. Here comes Tippings to the line. But what a race there. Brilliant stuff. Guys, get your votes in on Driver of the Day. And I will get hopefully the comms box working. So I'll be back in a few moments' times, guys. So hopefully, if I've managed to do this correctly, you should be able to steal me, and anybody who ends up joining the Discord party. So anybody in the top 3, but I doubt we'll hear from anyone, to be fair. But nonetheless, in the way, Hubert, where did he finish in the end? Hubert, where is his penalty? There he is. He's 23rd. And what a shame for him there. It's been a great night's worth of racing once again. And the polls are coming in for Driver of the Day. Currently 5 votes. It's split between Silth and O'Reilly. And at this minute, no one's coming in to join me in the box. I'm going to have to give it to O'Reilly. What a drive from him there. He has been faultless all night long, and I think it was going to be his to lose tonight. And in the end, everyone threw everything at him, but in the end, it was Kieran O'Reilly who took the win. No one in the comments box. Well, while that's all going on, let's have a look at the drivers and teams standings, shall we? As I'll open that up, no one's going to join me in the Discord, so I will disconnect from there. Kieran O'Reilly on his 50th appearance, reminder as well, and Wright as well, both on their 50th appearance for that race too, and O'Reilly carries it on to a win, and 2 race wins. That's given McLaren their 100th win as well, so O'Reilly, brilliant stuff from him there. And I believe, if I'm correct, Matthew is actually putting in the results as we speak, or is he waiting for it to update? But nonetheless, we will come back to the results, I think, another time round. But nonetheless, it has been a brilliant night's worth of racing here at SimPlay Motorsport. Reminder to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. And like I said, tune in tomorrow night because either myself or Lexi will be bringing you all the action for Pro-Am as well. I've been Dan Davis. This has been SimPlay Motorsport. Good night.